So now, that's what it is. This is what our education is. I'm now going to cover on this board how we do it. How do we, in 3.5 days, produce the types of results that get produced here? You know, the things that you hear our graduates share are just incredible sometimes. The miraculous results that they produce. And so now I'm going to use this board to show you how we do that. And it's going to tie into what I wrote on that board for you. So I'd like for you to pretend with me that inside this circle is all knowledge. Anything that could be known is known inside the circle. You with me? So there's no knowledge outside the circle. All right. Out of everything that could be known, what percentage of it would you say that we as human beings actually know? Tiny bit, right? Little dot? Sure. So for illustration purposes, I'll take that as a piece of the pie. So out of everything that could be known in life, there's a piece of knowledge, which are right here, which are things that we know. What are some things that you know? Just raise your hand, I'll call on you. Please.
How to ride a horse.
How to ride a horse. Good. Morgan.
How to ride a bike.
How to ride a bike. Evelyn.
How to ride a speedboat.
Good. Triumph.
Surfing.
Surfing. And the list goes on, right? There's lots and lots of things that you already know. No problem. So now, out of everything that's knowable, there's another domain of knowledge, another piece of knowledge, which are things right illustrated by that piece of the pie, which are things that you don't know. What are some things that you don't know? Shirley.
How to ride a Brahma bull.
How to ride a Brahma bull. Good. Chelsea.
How to ride a unicycle.
How to ride a unicycle. There's a lot of riding going on in here. Morgan.
Calculus.
Calculus. Good. What else?
How to speak German.
How to speak German. Good. And the list goes on. All right. Good. Let's just review this. Out of everything that could be known, there's a piece of what could be known, which are things that we know. And there's a piece of what could be known, which are things that you don't know. Now, here's what's mostly missed by people, is that everything that you know and everything that you don't know, you actually know. So you know the things that you know, and you know the things that you don't know. So this is actually one domain of knowledge, one that looks like two. And human beings get stuck their entire life in this domain of knowledge. Here becomes the big game in life. Take that which you don't know and move it over to what you do know. And somehow it'll have you get ahead in life. If I could just know a little bit more and not know a little bit less, somehow I'll get an edge and actually produce the results that I want to produce in life. What we say is that everything that you know and everything that you don't know isn't going to carry the day for you. For example, you just shared with your neighbor an area where you'd like more power and more freedom. Don't you already know a lot of stuff about having power and freedom there? Don't you already know a lot of stuff that you don't know about having power and freedom there? Notice how much good knowing that is doing you. All right, I'll make this real for you. Does anyone in the room have an extra gram or two of weight on your body? If so, please raise your hand. Very good. How many of you know how to lose weight? You do, but isn't that interesting? You know how to lose weight. How come knowing how to lose weight doesn't translate into power and freedom as it regards your fitness? All right, here's another one. How many of you know that if you leave your house 30 minutes earlier than you would normally leave your house, you actually might make it where you're going on time? Raise your hand. Good. How many of you are ever late? Raise your hand. Isn't that interesting, though? You know leaving early will have you get there. How come knowing that doesn't translate into power and freedom as it regards getting to where you need to be on time? And here's another one. I know this will be none of you here, but how many of you in the room have that very special person in your life that if you push that button right there, their head pops up and spins around 6 times? Raise your hand. Yeah, how many of you are still sitting there pushing that button? Raise your hand. Isn't that interesting? But you know that if you do that, their head's going to spin around 6 times, yet there you are pushing it. How come knowing that doesn't translate into power and freedom in that relationship? So that's a couple of illustrations of everything that you know and everything that you don't know isn't going to carry the day. So in our education, in transformative learning, by the way, this is informative learning. This domain of knowledge, moving things over here, is all informative learning, the type of education we've all been exposed to. Our education, we don't spend time in that domain of knowledge. So where do we do our work? Transformative learning happens here in the rest of the circle. that's mostly unseen and untalked about by people. So this domain of knowledge is also something that you don't know. And you don't know that you don't know it. You literally don't know that you don't know it. You know, we've all had those moments where you saw something you didn't know, those aha moments we've had in life. We're happy when they happen. We want them to happen again. But if you notice, we're not left with any direct access to causing those aha moments ongoingly. In our education and in transformative learning, you are trained to develop that which you don't know, and you don't even know that you don't know it. And this is where new possibilities come alive for you. So you could say that these in transformative learning, you see what I'm calling blind spots. You know what a blind spot is? I'll give you an illustration of a blind spot. So there you are, you're sitting at your car, you have your hands at 10 and 2. You look in your left mirror, there's nothing behind you. You look in your rearview mirror, there's nothing behind you. You look in your right mirror, still nothing behind you. You even turn your head around and you look behind you, and there is nothing behind you. You put it in reverse, back up, and hit a pole. Why is that? Have you noticed that no matter how hard you look and how hard you turn, there's a spot right back here that you just can't see? This is where transformative learning takes place. Two things about that which you don't know and you don't know. First is, isn't it where all the trouble comes from in life? Isn't every problem you're dealing with today somehow associated with something you didn't know and you didn't know it? And the other side of that is also where all the magic happens. When you discover your blind spots, you discover that which limits you in life. When you discover your blind spots, you get to think in whole new ways. That's transformation, and that's the landmark forum. Cut.
Beautiful.